My biggest challenge is threefold. Just a lot of surgeries. I had 25 in a 5-year period. Second thing was depression, and then just dealing with PTSD. And then physical also is my weight. A lot of my PTSD started before I went in the military. Just really a violent home, and I lived in foster homes and stuff. And went in the military, and I didn't realize that as you encounter more stresses, PTSD gets worse. It doesn't get better. So as I took on more rank, more responsibilities, I really started to have some real issues, anxiety attacks, a lot of hypervigilance and stuff. And so I didn't quite know what was going on. So when I got out of the military, I ended up going to a 6-week live-in PTSD clinic the military has, which helped me understand a lot. But I was having nightmares 4 and 5 nights a week, just heavy anti-nightmare meds and stuff, and eating quarts of ice cream, which was not helpful. But then as my physical health deteriorated, I couldn't get around as much. I've had back surgery, shoulder surgeries, and I became more depressed. So I started to put on weight. I actually got up to 350 pounds. And so yeah, it was a pretty dark and bad place for me. Pretty defeated and alone. I normally am pretty gregarious, but I was isolating. My life was hockey, soccer, all those things were gone. In the military, you're really connected to people. In the civilian world, it's not that way. And even though I was in the counseling office over at Gresham High School, that was good, but it was more stress, so I couldn't stay there. So I ended up leaving there as well. So my world became much smaller. After joining Mount Hood Athletic Club, the big thing that started to change was community. I've been to other gyms, but it was more you go in, you go out, you say hi, and every few weeks there's somebody new, so it's not like you get used to them. Whereas here, I've known a lot of these people 20 years now, but they would greet me, and I could tell them I'm having a hard day. I'm just really struggling. But they were okay with it. They weren't like, you've got to be at a certain level. And then the other thing was, here at this gym, it's not like the military where everybody's fit. A lot of people are older, and at the time I was in my mid-40s, and I thought, well, those old people, if they can do it, I can do a little. I'm one of those old people now. But there's people of all stages here. So I really felt like, okay, nobody was looking at my weight. Nobody's worried about that. It was just about how do I get further. And so I hired a coach at the time, and she helped me just kind of set up a program. So I started losing weight a little at a time. And I felt like sending Dairy Queen an apology because I know they're going out of business because I wasn't eating there all the time. But it started to change my habits, where this became a daily routine. And when I didn't do it, the dark days kind of took over. So some of the specific results, probably the first is I've kept off 120 pounds, which is a third of my weight, which is pretty amazing to me. I've gone from a 53 waist, I'm down to a 40. So that to me is huge. Another thing is, many of the people I connect with here at the club are friends out of the club now. So it's not like you just see them and say hi. We're really connected. And like when I had written my first book, the people at the desk were interested, and as they talked or read it, then other people say, I heard you wrote a book. So everybody's so connected. But also, this is kind of a safe place for me. The other thing I did is because I couldn't walk very far and I couldn't run because of my back surgeries. So I started walking, and I started keeping track on a map of how far I walked. So in an 8-month period, I walked from Portland down to San Diego, all the way over to into Nevada. So it was fun. That way I kept track of it. It was like, so I tell students, hey, if I'm doing this, I don't want to hear that you can't. I'm in my 50s. Look at me. Look how far I've gone. And that just helped me get a better sense of success and really helped me change my eating patterns as well. If someone was wondering whether they should join or not, I'll tell them the same thing. I told my son and daughter-in-law, we all live together, my wife and I and them, all in a large house communally, not like we have a separate place, they have one, but it's together. And the mom, my daughter-in-law, was feeling kind of isolated with the kids a lot. So I told her, listen, Audrey, you're going to get to know people. And as she started coming over this last summer with the kids and going swimming with the grandkids, she's gotten connected and found out some of her friends go here. And so I tell them, you're going to find a community, but also it doesn't matter what you look like or how far out of shape you are. People are not judging that it really is a safe space. And for the price, it's basically not even 10 mochas a month. You probably have noticed Truman down here. And what's interesting is Truman is my PTSD service dog. He's fully certified. But I've realized that he senses other people's cortisol as well. And so there have been many times when I've been able to just, I'll be working out and Truman's laying there, but he goes over and lays on the feet of somebody who's just across. And he only does that for one reason, because he's trained that if cortisol levels are high, that's one of the ways of telling. And so it's open conversations. And I've developed some really good friendships with people just through Truman. And so Truman's got a routine just like I have a routine. And what it is people come here, and I think most people want to be heard, but I also think people want us to see who they can be, not who they are. And this is a place that it's really free to do that, whether you, like I have Truman, which really breaks barriers, but young and old, if you were to turn the camera on, you'd see young and old talking. It's not just us old guys over here, whatever. It's really a mixture. And because of that, I've stayed. It really doesn't matter. They could raise it to $100 a month. I'd still be here because it has become family.